Hi there, it's Mike here, and I'm back from another video, and this time it's yet another contest video. So this one is for a lovely guy called Beatle Dustino, and he's been in the VC for a year now, and this video was also to make a push towards 700 subscriptions. Well, I'm quite late on this one, and I see that he's already way over 700 subs. So well done there, Beatle Dustino. So the contest is called 1 and 7. So 1 to celebrate 1 year in the VC, and 7 because he was pushing to 700 subs. So question number 1, well, not really a question, it's just give shout outs to up to 7 people who you think deserve a shout out and might do this video. So I think I go for people that I haven't shouted out before, who I really should have done. And the first one is a lovely Canadian guy, Jack Vinyl Martini. Jack has a great record collection. He's been over in Europe recently, and he's picked up a load of great stuff that he's showing at the moment. So he's my first shout out. Second shout out is someone else who's also in Canada. It's a guy who's not been in the VC very long, only about 6 months, so it's less time than I have. And he's French Canadian, or at least he's a French man living in Canada. I don't know which it is, but he calls himself French Vinyl Addict, and he shows a lot of classic rock and prog albums, and he's a really nice guy. He comes on Ian's Ranking the Obscure live stream sometime on a Thursday, and it's always nice to have a chat with him. So that's my second shout out. And third one, and I don't know if he'd have the time to do this because he produces so many videos himself, but it's a great Richard McCook from over in Northern Ireland. So those are my 3 shout outs. Now the thing is, I'm quite late to the contest, and I see that it actually ends next Friday, the 29th of September. So those 3 people, if you're going to do it, you need to get your skates on. But anyway, so there's 7 questions now, and the first one is show an album that got you into music. Well, I've been into music for absolutely years, and I can remember that when I was a little kid, back in the late 60s, about 1967, 1968, there was a children's comedy sketch program on called Do Not Adjust Your Set, and it featured people that were to go on to do some really great stuff, like David Jason, who's a great comedy actor in the UK. He was a regular on the program, as well as Eric Idle, Michael Payne, and Terry Jones, who all went on to be part of Monty Python's. But every week there was a musical interlude, and it was always these guys. And as a sort of 9 or 10-year-old, I thought, this is really great stuff. And the band are the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, and this is their album from 1967. The cover's quite beat up because it's so old, and so it's called Gorilla. And I've even managed to retain the booklet that came with the album. So I don't know how I quite managed that over the years, but this was an album that I bought. In fact, I bought their single, "I'm the Urban Spaceman." I think was the first thing I bought by them. But then I got this album, and it's absolutely great. It's it's very quirky, sort of English sort of humour, and it's got great tracks on here. The opening track is called "Cool Britannia," and what else have we got? Oh, Watch Out, There's a Monster Coming, which I remember them performing on Do Not Adjust Your Set, which, by the way, you can see the clips on YouTube anytime. So they're quite good fun. And then there's a track on here called Death Cab for Cutie, which was where the band of the same name got the idea from. So there you go. And then the intro and the outro, that's another great track on this. So that's from 1967, and that's probably the album that got me into music. Right. Next question is, an album that got you to get into your favourite artist. So there you go. I've got lots of favourite artists. Like I couldn't really name one, but Neil Young is definitely up there. And this is, an album that needs no introduction really. After the Gold Rush, by Neil Young, 1972. I thought it was a great album at the time. It's certainly not my favourite Neil Young album. I think that might be On the Beach, or maybe Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. But it changes so often. But I love this album, and this is the one that really got me into Neil Young initially. So that's that one. Right. Next question. So an album that got you back into music or vinyl collecting. Well, I never got out of collecting music, but of course, like a lot of people, back in the sort of 80s and the 90s, I was buying CDs. A lot of albums came out and they didn't get a vinyl release anyway. But I bought this album, another one of my favourite artists, PJ Harvey, Let England Shake. It's from 2011. And I think this was one of the first vinyl albums I bought when I started collecting again. And it's an absolutely cracking album. So the title track is fantastic. Words That Make You Murder. I like that. And what else? Oh yes, on Battleship Hill. That's another track that I like. But this all round is a fantastic album from Polly Harvey. So that's PJ Harvey and Let England Shake. A box set that blew you away. Well, I'm going for this one, and it's a box set of the German krautrock band Neu, and it came out last year, I think, and it's got the 3 studio albums in it. But what really makes it for me is, first of all, there's a lovely book with lots of lovely photographs. Really good read, about the band. So it's a lovely booklet, as you often get in these box sets. But also there's two extra albums, and there you go. Not really very much to look at, but oh yes, they're on black vinyl. And they're sort of covers and remixes by sort of other people of Neu hits. So there's some great stuff on here. There's a remix here by Mogwai of their track Super. Then there's Alexis Taylor Has a Go at a track. We've got a remix of Im Glück by The National. What else have we got? I think the Idols are on here. Idols, yes. So there we go. Negative Land, and that's an Idols Negative Space rework. And it's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was worth the money just for these 2 remixes. So that was a box set that blew me away. Right. Next question is an album by a favourite band or artist that is underrated. Well, there's a band that I've shown quite a lot, and no one else ever shows them. No one else has said, "Oh yeah, I bought this, mate." And it's the Lovely Eggs. They're a DIY sort of punk duo from Lancaster in the northwest of England. This is their 5th album. This is Eggland, and so it's a duo. Holly on vocals and guitar, and David on drums and sometimes vocals. And they're absolutely fantastic. I mean, They actually did a single with Iggy Pop recently, but you know, nobody seems to have picked up on them, and I think it's a real shame. So we've got the tracks on here are like Wiggy Giggy was a single, as was Big C on here, but there's I shouldn't have said that. A brilliant track called Dickhead, and I always like the artwork. I buy their singles, you know, really just for the artwork. It's all very much this sort of you know, comic book sort of psychedelia. So there you go, the Lovely Eggs. You really should be getting into these guys, and I think this album's getting a reissue next month. So if you're in the UK, you've got no excuse, folks. Okay, right. An album that was gifted to you that really impressed you. Now, this was some VCLT I received from my friend Beric Shamaik up there in the Scottish borders, or well, in the English side of the Scottish borders, up in Berwickshire, and it's this album by Siobhan Wilson, and it's called There Are No Saints. And I didn't know Siobhan at all. Mike sent me this because he knows that I like female singer songwriters, and Siobhan lives quite close to Mike, so not only did he get me this album, he went round to see her and got her to sign it for me. So that was fantastic. But it's an absolutely brilliant record, and you know, he gave it to me a couple of months ago now, and I'm still playing it, you know, quite a lot. So there's the title track, There Are No Saints, uh, Paris de Blanche. That's a brilliant album. J'attendrai. So you know, there's a few tracks in French on here. Dystopian Back, that's another one. But you know, all round, it's an absolutely fantastic album. As I say, I didn't know who Siobhan Wilson was. I don't think I'd ever even heard about her. And I put this album on, and I thought, yeah, this is right up my street. So you know, Mike really, you know, hit the bullseye. Get this for me. So that's that's my surprise album that I really love. And finally, show an album by a live album by a band that you've seen the most or you've seen a lot. Well, there's quite a few bands that I've seen an awful lot, but I don't have any live albums by them. I mean, the Lovely Eggs. I've seen them absolutely loads of times, and whenever I get an opportunity, I do. But uh, I thought I'd go for this one, Public Service Broadcasting. I've seen them a few times, and this is live at Brixton. This is live at the Brixton O2 Academy, and there you go. There's a picture of the O2, a venue that unfortunately witnessed a bit of a disaster a few months back when there was a crush of people trying to get into a gig, and sadly some people died, and really they were, you know, the O2 Academy have got a lot of questions to answer about that. But nevertheless, you know, this is a great album. It's on there. It was on their Race for Space tour, and I saw them up in Leeds. I think it was at Leeds University during that tour, and the album has got sort of a mixture of tracks from the Race for Space, so there's Sputnik, Signal 30, Valentina, uh, Korolev, and then you've got sort of tracks from the first album, things like Spitfire, the absolutely brilliant Everest, Public Service Broadcasting's absolutely sort of best track in my opinion. And what else there? London Can Take It, and London Mail. Oh, sorry, Night Mail. And this is a great album. They're a great band, and that's Public Service Broadcasting. So that's it. So well done, Dustino, in getting to well over 700 subs and being in the VC for a year. So I'll put links in the description to the shout outs to Dustino's video. And so until next time, cheers, everybody. Bye.